last segment, we talked about how the family began. In this segment, we're going to discuss 3 essentials for a Christian home. And we're going to look in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 through 9. I always encourage you to have a Bible nearby, a notebook, and a pen, that you may take notes and write down the scriptures and become as the Bereans in Acts chapter 17. Be of a ready mind, but go back and search the scriptures to see whether those things are so. And I also encourage you by the word of God, 2 Timothy 2:15, to study, to show yourself approved unto God. A workman need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And also remember Romans 10:17. So then, faith come by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. We're going to look at Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 through 9. I'm reading from the New King James. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Now we want to talk about the 3 essentials for a Christian home. A new generation of Israel is gathered on the plain of Moab to hear Moses review the law in preparation for their entrance into the promised land. The previous generation had died in unbelief in the wilderness. Moses began his instruction by telling the people of Israel what a home is all about. He set forth 3 components which must be true if the home is rightly related to God. Number 1, there must be a revelation of God. Deuteronomy 6:4. God revealed 3 things about himself. Number 1, his eternality. He's Jehovah, Yahweh, the eternal. Number 2, his plurality. Elohim, Hebrew plural of God. There are 3 persons in the Godhead. And number 3, his unity, one Lord. The 3 persons of the Godhead constitutes one God. Each is essential. Number 2, there must be a response to God's revelation. That's Deuteronomy 6:5. The response is to be a total response of love with all one's being, heart, soul, and mind. This is the only fitting response to the eternal God who has revealed himself. And finally, there must be a 3-fold responsibility that is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6 through 9. The 3-fold responsibility acts as a check upon the proper response. If the earthly father responds to God with love, he will be fulfilling his 3-fold responsibility. If he fails in any particular, confession of sin is necessary because he does not love God with all his heart, soul, and mind. The 3-fold responsibility is, number 1, to have God's truth govern his heart. Deuteronomy 6:6. There must be heart reality, not mere external conformity or ceremony. Number 2, to have God's truth govern his home. This is evidenced by the fact that the believer father teaches the truth of God's revelation to his children by both formal, that means he teaches diligently, and informally. That means he taught of them instruction. And number 3, to have God's truth govern his habits and conduct personally, privately, and publicly. In short, the home is to be a divine school in which the Father is to be the teacher under Christ. And this concludes this segment. Go back, read these scriptures again, run some reference, read them over and over again till they become a part of you, and you will see the effects of the Word of God in your life.